Hey friend, welcome to Permission to Pause. Have you ever looked around at your life and thought, now what? Not because something is necessarily wrong, not because you're unhappy, not because you don't love the people God's placed in your life, but because maybe deep down inside there's this quiet feeling that maybe there's still more for you, more for your purpose, more adventure, more of you that hasn't yet been discovered. If that's you today, welcome to this pause. You are in exactly the right place. And I think by the end of this episode, you're going to have a name for what you've been feeling. So I hope you've been with me for the past few weeks, the past few episodes, as I've been sharing a small series about life's hallways, the in-between places, the places between a door that's closed and the door that's not yet open. So I think many women arrive at this place sometime around midlife. Their children are grown up, their career changes, ministry shifts, dreams that you thought would happen one way are unfolding an entirely different way. And suddenly you find yourself standing in that doorway, in that in-between what was and what's next. I've spent a lot of time in the last few years in that doorway, friend, and I've learned to call it something. I call it the in-between, I call it the liminal space, and I call it the hallway. The space between chapters or doors where one season has clearly ended and the other one hasn't quite begun. You're not alone where you are. And can I tell you something? Most of us think the hallway is a problem to be solved. But what it actually is a gift. What if the hallway isn't a waiting room, but a preparation space? Because of what I've learned from walking through my own hallways very recently, and from walking alongside hundreds of women through theirs, is that women who thrive in this season do not necessarily have better circumstances than anyone else. They simply learn how to walk through the hallway differently. So today, I want to share 5 steps I've seen over and over again in women who move from feeling stuck in the hallway to feeling unstuck and genuinely excited about the door that's opening ahead of them. It's not because they suddenly have all the answers, but because they've learned to trust the journey. Ready? Okay, here we go. So step 1 is you are doing this one right now, basically. You're pausing. Step 1 is pause. I know that's not an exciting step. We want movement, we want clarity, we want a 5-year plan, color-coded. But here's the thing about the hallway. You've entered it carrying things from the last room, old expectations, old roles, old measurements of success, old grief over doors that didn't open the way you planned. So you cannot walk freely through the hallway from one door to the other, and you certainly cannot step into that next room with your arms full of what no longer belongs to you, what no longer fits. So the first step is to simply stop, breathe, pause like you're doing today, and ask God, what am I still carrying that no longer belongs in this season? Because you cannot embrace a new season. You cannot embrace a new today until you let go of yesterday, right? Step 1, pause. Step 2, listen. Isaiah 30:21, you will hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. So once we stop rushing, something beautiful happens and we start hearing things that we could not hear before. Not necessarily lightning bolts from heaven, but nudges, desires, a recurring thought, a dream that keeps resurfacing, a burden that won't leave you alone. The hallway is actually quiet, and quiet is where God does some of his best work, if not all of his best work. He often whispers before he directs. He awakens something before he explains something. So pay attention. What keeps stirring inside of you? What conversation makes you come alive? What possibility keeps showing up? Those stirrings matter. They're not rumblings. They're actually breadcrumbs that show up in our hallway, leading us from one door to another, right? Okay, so step 3 is discover. Step 3 is discover. This is one of my favorites because most of us assume that the next chapter requires becoming something completely different, starting over from scratch, reinventing everything. But most of the time, that's really just not true. Our next chapter is often hidden inside our story, inside your experiences, your gifts, your scars, the things you have survived, the seasons that you've already walked through. The hallway isn't about erasing your story, it's about connecting the chapters. I think about women who spent years raising children and discover the gift of mentoring. Women who've walked through grief and find a heart for helping others heal. Women who've built careers and realize they can now teach, coach, and encourage others to lead. Nothing God has allowed in your life is wasted. Every chapter has been preparing you for something. So ask God, what have you been preparing me for? Step 4 is dare. This is where the adventure actually begins. Because eventually, friend, you have to move. You can pause, you can listen, you can discover, but at some point, you have to take a dare. And this is where many of us get stuck in the hallway longer than we need to. We wait until we feel completely confident. We wait until we have every answer. We wait until we can see the whole staircase or the whole room in front of us. But confidence rarely comes before the step. Confidence almost always follows the first step. The women I admire most are not women who never feel afraid. They're women who move forward anyway. They send the email, they launch the ministry, they write the book or the chapter or the article, they join the group, they take the class, they raise their hand, not because they know it will work, but because they refuse to let fear make their decisions. So what small step of courage is God inviting you to take? Not giant, not life altering, just the next step, the one you already know in your heart you should take. And finally, step number 5 is flourish. Psalm 119:32, I love so much, says, I run in the path of your commands, for you have set my heart free. Flourishing isn't about arriving. It's about living. It's about embracing the season that you're in right now. Yes, even the hallway, instead of wishing you were somewhere else. Because purpose doesn't expire. Adventure doesn't expire. Our calling doesn't expire. You're not too old. You're not too late. You're not too young. You're not past your prime. God is not finished writing your story. So some of the most meaningful years of a woman's life can happen after that season, after those seasons of transitions. Maybe life after 50, when your kids have all graduated and gone off to college, or after 60 or after 70, because wisdom has finally caught up with your experience and the need to prove yourself to anyone begins to fade. You stop asking, what do people think about me? And start asking, what has God created for me to do next? What does God think about me? That's flourishing. So those are your 5 words for the hallway. Pause, listen, discover, dare, and flourish. So what if your next adventure isn't waiting out there somewhere? What if it's already beginning inside of you, right here, right now, in the middle of the hallways? Pause and think about that. Think about, what if the in-between isn't the problem? What if your in-between, your hallway, is preparation? So friend, we've been sitting on this hallway concept for a few episodes, and I want you to know that I've got something really special coming, and I have written a 21-day devotional called The Hallway. It'll be available very soon on Amazon. 21 days of scripture, reflection, gentle prompts to help you walk through your own in-between season with faith and courage and hope. But before that launches, I want to give you a gift. I have a free 7-day version of the Hallway Devotional on my website at patlayton.net. 7 days to begin the journey, 7 days to pause, listen, start discovering what God has for you next. So grab that free gift from my website, patlayton.net, no cost to you, just you, your journal, and 7 days looking at the hallway that you may be in with God. And if today's conversation stirs something in you and you're ready to stop walking this season alone, I'd like to invite you to take a look on my website at my Woman's Quest, which is my monthly, because your story isn't ending, my friend. It may be just beginning something fresh and a brand new adventure. So I can't wait to see you next time here on Permission to Pause. I'm also, as you know, trying out a new journey on YouTube. We'll see. But I am on YouTube with Permission to Pause. So until next time, this has been your Permission to Pause. And I'm so honored and blessed to have you here with me. I hope you'll send me a note or an email or jump on my website and download that free devotional, 7 days in the hallway. So I'm excited to visit with you again. Thank you for joining.